Okay, welcome everybody. If you haven't been here before, I'm Jimmy. This is First Year Mini Rescue. And welcome back if you've been here before and you just get drawn in for some reason. Anyway, like I said, I'm Jimmy and this is First Year Mini Rescue, rescuing the first generation minis. Most of them that I deal with have the superchargers. Anyway, so I went on a road trip, or Sharon and I went on a road trip, and I'm going to tell you what happened, everything that happened, good, bad, and ugly. But first, let me get the fortune here out of the way. All right. Today's fortune says, attitudes are the forerunners of conditions. Attitudes are the forerunners of conditions. Well, if you have a good attitude about things, more than likely the conditions that you're having the attitude about, it's going to put a positive outcome, positive thing. This car is 20 years old. We decided to drive it. We had to go. We were going to the Denver, Aurora, Colorado area. Aurora is where the airport is, so it's a little bit north of the city of Denver. And that's where we stayed and that's where we drove. The total drive time, or miles, was 3,833 miles. And we broke it up. Like the first day was, we drove Saturday, 12 hours, Sunday, 12 hours, finished it off. We did have an incident, the flat tire incident, on the way out. And then we drove the same half a day or 12 hours, got a hotel in the St. Louis area, is about the midway point for us here at Chesterfield. So it's about 12 hours to St. Louis area, where the arch, Gateway Arch, and then the other 12. So we did that both ways, coming back and going. Full disclosure, I had to add a half a quart of oil. We'll start with this engine. On the way home, right when we left St. Louis, my first gas stop on the way home, I was a half a quart low. So I added a half a quart of oil. Okay, full disclosure, we've driven all the way to Denver and halfway back, and I'm a half a quart low on my oil. So I checked it, but I have this M7 bracket, so I had to take my business card and kind of fold it and make a funnel just to pour the half a quart in. So let me see, how many miles did we go? Okay, I reset that when we left home. So we've gone 3,080 miles and I used a half a quart of oil. Not bad for a 20-year-old Mini Cooper. All right, a half a quart of oil for the whole entire trip. Right now, when I checked it, when we got home last night at 10:30, it was full, still full. So not bad usage for a 20-year-old car with 134, almost 135,000 miles. Total on the car. So I wanted to show all of the things that we had in the car. However, we've been dealing with rain forever, and it rained last night, and it's getting ready to rain today again. So we hurry up and took everything out. But in essence, we had 2 suitcases that are your overhead bin size, basically. We had 1 full backpack, which is an overhead bin size backpack. We had 4 computer bags, basically a little bit thicker computer bags. Various snacks. We had a soft-sided cooler for drinks. We had camera equipment and tripods, which I didn't use at all. We had a ukulele, just one. We did use that. We both played it different times. What else? Oh, and then on the way, some of you seen, we had a flat. So let me explain that one. Okay. On the way out towards Denver, about an hour and a half after we left St. Louis area, because we spent the night there, the passenger rear tire had a blowout. I was driving about 74 miles an hour in a 75 mile an hour zone. And I was passing a truck that was going about 70. The truck was driving about 70, so I was going about 74, 75. And as soon as I got in front of him, There's some road construction where the road is a little bit higher with the new pavement and lower with the older pavement. And when I went to switch over the car, the tire just did, you know, it blew. And the inside sidewall just disintegrated basically. When you're looking at the wheel, it looked like it was out of alignment. Kind of, instead of being vertical, it was leaned in. So I guess that's camber. It was leaned in some. I don't know if it was the weight we had or what, but either way, I got off. There was an exit right there. So the truck driver slowed down. To his credit, he slowed down very, very quickly. And I guess he saw the tire blow, slowed down very quickly. I did get over, and we pulled into the first gas station there. And we looked across the street and there was a tire shop. But that tire shop was closed. So we called our tow service. We have a few. We have our insurance has towing. We have AAA. It's not sponsored, but we have it. So we called AAA. They would usually be the fastest. The guy came within 35 minutes, came to the thing, and he said that there was a Firestone dealership that was open on Sundays. We had called him while we were waiting, and he didn't have the tire, but his other dealership 5 minutes away or 8 minutes away had it. But they had the tires, but they didn't have the technicians available because there was only 2 people in that shop. So he sent the runner over, picked up the tires, and brought us back to his, or brought the tires to his Firestone, and they replaced them. Unfortunately, they could not do an alignment to try to fix that camber issue with this wheel back here. Basically, this was the only one I was worried about. But with the new tires, I said, okay, we'll drive sensibly and we'll get to Denver and go to a mini dealer. So even though it was just one tire that blew, we bought 2 so that they would be even on the same axle. And our tires were still very good tread. So he gave us our one good tire back. And as you can see here, he put it in a plastic bag. It still got excellent tread on it, as you can see. Maybe I'll get you in closer. So anyway, so we brought this tire back with us. He loaded it in his plastic and all was good. Now, across the street, across the parking lot from the tire place was a Harbor Freight. And this was before we bought this little, what do you call it? A rooftop carrier. I bought a blanket from Harbor Freight, a shipping blanket, just to cover the tire, to keep it from getting our clothes dirty and things like that. Didn't really use the blanket, but I had it anyway. And then the guy said he had this bag, so then we went to a Walmart. They installed the tires, no problem. Everything was great there. Want to thank them in Columbia, Missouri. Is it Missouri? I think so. There she is, getting her tires done. The people here have been very helpful, very, very helpful. He's gonna wrap the one tire, because all the tires, they're almost brand new. He's gonna wrap the one tire we have left in plastic so that we can take it back with us. I'll have to park off to the side and rearrange everything on the inside. And when we get to Denver, I'm gonna check out a couple of mini dealers. I think there's one that I know of, and see if I can get in and get an alignment, just be on the safe side. We got a week in Denver, so maybe they can get me in Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. So we'll do that. Anyway, so I'm gonna go in here and just relax and get ready for the rest of our drive. All right. Okay. So we went to Walmart and I said, well, if we just get a rooftop carrier that we can put in the back seat with the seat folded down and just close everything in there, nothing will fly out, everything will be secure, safe. And that's what we did. We bought one, just a big giant rooftop carrier with the seats folded down. Now, my suggestion is if you're gonna do this, it worked perfect, no problems whatsoever. However, this rooftop carrier opens in the shape of an L, and that just makes it more difficult to get things in all the way in the back using both ends. But if you had one that was shaped, that would open 3 ways, 3 sides of the thing instead of 2, and you can fold the flap over or back or have access in the back and the front at the same time, that would be much better. So if you're gonna get one, do that kind of research, get one that opens up horseshoe pattern, and that way you can put that final part that doesn't open in the back, and you can always just pull through. You kind of get what I'm saying. But we had the zipper opening up front so we can unzip, and we put things we needed immediate access to here in this section. Yeah, so that was the deal with the tire. It was probably the alignment. So let me tell you how we fixed that. Okay, for the alignment area, we got to Denver without any further issue with the tires. Of course, I was paranoid, and I checked it at every stop along the way from once we got the tire fixed to getting to the Denver area. I dropped Sharon off on Monday morning at her conference that she was attending, and I drove straight, no calls, no phone calls, no anything. I drove straight to the local Mini dealer in Denver, Colorado, which is Schomp, S-C-H-O-M-P Mini. I'm gonna shout them out, and I'm gonna put their information down in the bottom here. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. The service manager that helped me, his name was Isaiah Like, L-I-K-E. He's Hawaiian. So the Liki Highway, like it's spelled L-I-K-E. Anyway, Isaiah was amazing. Without an appointment, without a heads up, without anything, I just drove in. He said, drive your car in the bay. We'll get you taken care of. And that they did. I mean, within 2 hours, I was pretty much done. They did the alignment. It was off, which was suspected, but they took care of it just like that. So hats off to the crew there at Schomp MINI in Denver, Colorado. If you're ever passing through now, I'm saying all that. I'm gonna put a video in here too about this dealership, because this is, I would say, the top Mini dealership as far as aesthetics go, both outside the building and inside the waiting areas. I didn't even go up the stairs to the upstairs waiting area, but inside the waiting areas, the service bays, I mean, the whole works. I mean, you'll see. So again, I want to thank every single person that I came in contact with at that dealership. They were amazing. They got me back on the road, no problems. We came all the way home with no problems. The car handled smoothly. Sharon even said, even riding, and when she drove, she could tell that it felt, just easier. So for me, that means I need to do that at least once a year, get the cars. It'll probably be a pre-spring service that I just schedule for the convertibles, because we, no need to have it done in the winter and let it sit all winter. But anyway, so now that was that part. So everything was great. And now the other incident that we had, let's talk about that. Okay, like I said, the irony of wearing this endangered species shirt, the 6-speed, is not lost on me, trust me, as this car is an automatic, but it's what we drove. So we went up Pikes Peak, 14,100 and whatever feet. I'll put the thing down here. The automatic had an issue going up. When we got to about 13,800 feet. The transmission, either it got hot, the fluid got hot, and it just it really struggled. We had to pull off and cool off the car, let it sit. Finally got it restarted, and it threw an engine code. I guess the transmission was telling the engine to shut down. Is all I can figure. So it was an issue. Then we started researching, and everyone was saying, or there's research out there that says that the automatic has an issue at the super high elevations, which I did not know in advance. So we persevered and everything, and coming down the mountain, no issues whatsoever. Coming all the way home, no issues whatsoever. I didn't check the transmission fluid. I didn't add anything. I didn't drain anything. We just let it cool off, and we drove home, drove back to our hotel. And then obviously we drove all the way home without doing anything to the car. The first time I went up in the gray Mini, and but that's a 6-speed car, so I didn't have any issue whatsoever. But yeah, so if you have an automatic, I don't know, especially first generation. Second gens, I don't know anything about those. But yeah, so we did have that issue. It was something. It was tough, but beautiful drive. I'm gonna put some video in the clip, some clips in here, and show you a little bit of Pikes Peak. Now, having said that, the research I'm going to do is maybe put a plate type of external transmission cooler, a bigger cooler, which would do two things. It would keep the transmission fluid cooler, and it would also increase the volume by however much the supply and return line carries, and however much is in the cooler itself. I do know the first generation normally aspirated engine cars, the R50s, the automatics, they have a fin type cooler in the front somewhere. But yeah, so I'm going to research how I can add a transmission cooler as long as it doesn't cool the temperature too much. I don't know if that's a thing. If anyone knows, please let me know. But I know they need to get up to a certain temperature, and I hope the cooler doesn't, the external extra cooler, but I'm going to do the research before I actually do the work. And yeah, so, but that was the thing. But we did make fine, and the rest of the trip didn't have any issues. A couple of the mountain passes, you know, sometimes I drive this in manual mode, so I would have to downshift to 5th because, you know, if it's in 6th in manual mode, it won't downshift for you unless it really needs it, and then it will. But yeah, everything was wonderful. There is two things on this car that I need to look into. One, I'm due for the oil change because the miles now are 134,575 miles. So that's within my window of the 135 oil change. I'll drive a couple of more 100 miles before I change the oil because I like to get it as close to 135,000 as possible so that the next change will be at 140,000. So every 5,000 miles, all of the cars get an oil change, except for the boat. It gets it more frequent. What else? The GPS and the car had a different a difference in mileage. but I go by the GPS mileage. So when you look at the total miles, it was 3,833 miles, point something, I don't know what. But our max speed, well, no, I can't say that. Moving average was only 65 miles an hour, 64 miles an hour. And then that's the whole trip. From the time we left here, I zeroed everything out. So I'm trying to cover this 91 miles an hour. Oops, did I say that? That was on a closed road, yeah. I think they did that at the dealership. Just kidding, no they didn't. But anyway, so right now I'm sitting at 11 feet altitude compared to 14,000 feet plus at Pikes Peak. So, but anyway, all right, let me see what else. Let me close this out. Okay, all in all, everything went well on this trip. Couldn't ask for better. I'm at a later time, I got all of the different times how many gallons we put in the car and how many miles we drove, so I can do an average of what we were getting per mile per gallon. Sometimes we had the top down most of the time, and it was 102 degrees a couple of times. We even have the AC on with the top down because it feels cooler coming off your feet and coming up. Anyway, so I'll get the mileage, how well it did in mileage. The front shocks or struts that I put on here performed wonderfully. Kansas and Colorado, they have some rough roads. A couple of times I thought I bent the rim for sure, hitting some of the potholes and dips and things, but the car never bottomed out, never scraped the front little rubber plastic piece under the bottom, the little windage piece. So yeah, the new struts were wonderful. If I would have had the old struts on, I would have been bottoming out or scraping a lot more often. I do need to change the rear struts in this car. Don't have them, didn't order them. There's different ones for the R52 versus the R53. So I'll have to make sure I get the specific R52 struts. I think they're not as stiff as the R53s. So they put less stress on the body, on the strut mount. Anyway, that's for later. All right, I don't know what else I can talk about. And if you got any questions about the trip or the journey or anything else in between, put them down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Yeah, we had a wonderful time. That was the longest trip this car has been on since we've owned it. Again, bought at an auction. So, all right, that's it for now. I'm gonna close this one out. I hope you enjoyed the little video clips, and I'll end with another video clip of something. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Come back and see us again. If you like these travel type things or whatever, when we go on road trips, I'll do more of them. And until then, have fun with your Mini. Wait. I do have to go get this car detailed. That's what I'm gonna close it out at, because we drove down in Kansas. We went to go see Castle Rock. And Castle Rock, I'll put a picture, but you gotta drive like 20, 21, 22 miles down a gravel road, dirt gravel road. And then you gotta drive that same 21, 22 miles back. But we came back a different way than the way we came. So it was more off-roading. So if you're Mini, if they tell you can't go down that road, look for yourself, because you can do it, because we did. All right, have fun with your Minis, because we have fun with ours. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.